Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high achieving, goal oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 367, the year it finally clicked. How my client stopped drinking and built a lasting alcohol-free life. Well, hello. I am ridiculously excited for you to hear this episode today. I just interviewed my amazing and beautiful and kind and resilient and smart, badass client Megan on the podcast. And it's such a perfect story. It's perfect timing for everything that we've been discussing the past few weeks here on the podcast and in my coaching programs. And it's going to tie it all together and let you know, first of all, that the journey takes time sometimes, and that it's important that you don't give up. Megan started working with me back in 2021. Okay. That was 5 years ago. And she is just starting her third year alcohol free. So she's completed 2 years being alcohol free. And she had tried not drinking the year before. She went a whole year without drinking. That was her goal. And she only made it till February. And so we talk about that. We talk about 3 things that helped her not get overwhelmed with a big goal like going alcohol free all year, and then the 3 things that she does in the moments she had thoughts about drinking, and a bunch of other stuff about how she copes now and how her life has changed and how she feels and all of it. Okay, my friends, I hope you really enjoy this podcast episode and be inspired by Megan and know that you can have that too. Enjoy. Hi, Megan. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Angela. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited for this conversation. So Megan is up in Alaska. I don't even know what time it is up there. Is it like 9 a.m.?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Nice. So why don't you just tell them a little bit about yourself?
I've been in Alaska about 13 and a half years. Was from Washington State prior, came here for work, have had a career in higher education philanthropy and nonprofit philanthropy. And I'm a wife and a mom of 2 grown sons who are launched into their lives. So that's fun. And we just love all things outdoors in Alaska.
That's awesome. So why don't you tell them a little bit too about your journey, like maybe how you found me, or like your a little bit about your relationship with alcohol and when you really started to think about changing it.
Sure. Well, it was, I believe, 2021 in the fall was when I first saw I think a Facebook ad for Wine Free Work Week.
Oh,
And yeah, so I think that was my first exposure, and I thought, this is great. This is something I would love to do. Um, it was during the pandemic years.
mm-hmm.
Like many of us, my drinking had increased during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and kind of one of the catalysts for me was in 2017, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I distinctly remember some of the first conversations with medical professionals after being diagnosed. Always the question of how much alcohol do you drink?
Mm,
And one doctor specifically told me you need to quit,
yeah.
period.
Mm,
Because there is, a very well-researched link between breast cancer and alcohol use. I don't have the BRCA genes. I didn't have any immediate family history with breast cancer
mhm,
specifically. So, that was a huge concern. And so I went through, most of a year of treatment. And it was just interesting because after that treatment, it kind of moved into a year of celebration of
mm,
being over that. And
mm,
pretty quickly, the drinking came back. I loved wine.
Mhm.
I know this is part of your story as well, that I think as women in society, we get kind of seduced by
Yes.
wine marketing, and
Mhm.
wine is sophisticated. And um, I worked in an industry where there was lots of parties, celebrations,
Mhm.
galas, events, things that included alcohol and specifically wine. I worked in a university that had a viticulture and enology program
Yeah.
that I was raising money for. So lots of interactions with wineries. Um,
Mhm.
and so I really, and then when the pandemic came again, wine became just a nightly emotional crutch.
Yeah.
And I knew I was using it in that way, and drinking more than the recommended 7 drinks or less for women,
Mhm.
at that moderate level. So, anyway, when Wine Free Work Week popped up, I did that, and I just absolutely loved the community you created, the support, the non-judgmental way that you approach this, and the approach of, you know, I can define the relationship that I want to have with alcohol. And it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Mhm.
Um, but we can get in control of our relationship rather than letting it control us.
Yeah. I love that. I love that it was wine free work week.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a fun one. And then I think I may have done a sober October challenge as well. Not sure I was completely successful in that, but
Mhm.
those first interactions with your programs gave me so much hope that, you know, even if I wasn't perfect, I could make progress.
Yes. So good. So when we've been working together. I've known you for a while since then, right? And I remember was it 2022 or
It's
2023?
2022, January.
Okay.
Yeah, that I joined the 6 month
Okay.
small group support program,
Yes.
which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible group of women. You work with high achieving badass women, and it was so good to know that, I wasn't the only one that was struggling with this and having a hard time with it.
Mhm.
Um, and just the amount of support, the amount of resources and information that you provided through that program just really helped me for the first time in my life to understand the connection between my emotions, my thoughts,
Mhm.
and reaching for that thing that would soothe the anxiety, the overwhelm. My relationship with alcohol started very young in life, and I
Mhm.
won't go into all that, but it was just I was very shy as a child and a
Mhm.
teen, and it kind of snowballed from there, drink
Yeah.
lots of drinking through high school and college, and yeah, and then later in life just became that sort of almost nightly
Yeah.
a couple glasses of wine.
Yeah, coping mechanism for all the
Yeah,
things, right? And just I feel like it kind of creeps in. We're not conscious of why we're using it until you start working on it, right? Like you don't really become understand it until you dive into it and look at slowing down and pausing and not drinking sometimes, right? To see like
right.
what the triggers are and why you've been using it and why you've been using it as a coping mechanism. So, sound like during that time it was all kind of coming together for you and you were learning more about the human behavior aspect of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was still in jobs that were incredibly intense and
Mhm.
stressful.
Mhm.
And so it took me a long time, to really get to the place I wanted to be. I worked on it. I signed up for a second 6 months in your
Mhm.
program. So basically all of 2022, I was
Mhm.
really, you know, really working on it,
Yeah.
but definitely didn't have immediate success.
Mhm.
It was fits and starts.
Yeah. And then I think the year after that is when you tried to do a whole year alcohol free, right? That was your goal at the beginning of the year.
Yes, 2023, that was my goal. Started out really strong,
Mhm.
and had cut way back. So,
Yeah.
it felt didn't feel hard in the beginning. But by February, I went on vacation and kind of got my arm twisted a little bit,
Mhm.
um, by my elderly aunt and uncle of all people. um, to have some wine when we were visiting them, and so it didn't take.
Hmm.
And then throughout 2023, I really did. Most months were alcohol free,
Yeah.
but I was still drinking for the celebrations, for
Mhm.
vacations. And um, in July that year, my husband and I went on vacation. We both had a night of over drinking and got in a huge fight,
Mhm.
and here I was still drinking for all these celebratory moments. And I finally just came to the realization that, what am I doing? I'm still letting this impact me in a negative way,
Mhm.
when I really want to be celebrating. I've always been a person who has bad hangovers. So, and even small amounts at that point were giving me headaches and disrupting my sleep. And I was just like, why am I doing this to myself?
Mhm.
Um, so by the end of 2023, and I had a pretty big overdrink that Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Um, with all my husband's family and everything, and a hangover the next day, and I just was like, th- I'm done.
Mhm.
So that I had a few here and there, glasses of wine over the holidays, a couple drinks on New Year's Eve, and those were the last drinks I had on New Year's Eve, 2024. So,
So
or 2023, sorry.
yeah.
So yeah, so just celebrated 2 years living
Congratulations.
alcohol free.
Yes.
And I love your Alive AF
Hmm.
program name, because that's how I want to live now, is fully alive, experiencing all of the ups and downs of life
Hmm.
without having to have something that is, you know, enhancing it or numbing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I'm so, so proud of you. And I love that I've been observing this and witnessing there and right there with you during this whole journey and just watching you not give up on yourself. A lot of people
Yeah,
want it to be solve it in a short amount of time. And I want that for people too, right? Like I want people to figure it out sooner so they can suffer less. And I also know after this is my 8th year of this work that it takes time and everybody's different. And as long as you don't quit, right? Like you
right,
can be there. Like imagine if you just said, fuck it. This is too
right.
hard. I'm not going to figure this out, right? Like
Yeah,
you were so close. Every step of the way was just building on the work that you were doing before. All of the missteps and all of the overdrinks and everything built on each other to finally for it to click at the end of that year to be like,
yes,
that's it, right? Like I'm done. Next year I'm going to go alcohol free. And you did.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. It is a journey, and it doesn't matter how long it takes you. What's important is that you continue to make small incremental progress and learn from, the situations that don't make you feel good.
Yes.
And I have to say that I never thought I would get there,
Hmm.
but now, 2 years in, and really for the last year, I don't even think about alcohol anymore, like hardly ever.
Yeah,
You
I was
know,
going to ask
every
you like so year one, like we worked together closely that year, and you had to get through all of the holidays and difficult situations and vacations. I remember working with you very closely on that. That celebratory factor was a big, like your last like obstacle to overcome,
yeah,
and like getting through all of that, right? And then this last year, you did that on your own, and so you
yeah.
had all of that experience. Like, what's been the difference, do you think?
Oh gosh, just every once in a while I'll think, gosh, it would be nice to have a glass of champagne right now or a glass of wine right now, but I always go back to, it's more important for me to feel good,
Mm,
um, and to have integrity around this decision because I
mhm.
know it's the best thing for me.
Yeah.
And I've learned, I think if you give yourself that chance to be alcohol free for any amount of time, you learn that it doesn't bring anything good. It doesn't enhance, um, events and celebrations and situations. It really, for me, I now really fully understand that it doesn't. So it's not a hard decision. Um,
Right.
I think for a while I kind of went all in on mocktails and making sure I had something really fun to drink. And I still do, a couple ounces of 100% pomegranate juice or cherry juice or something with sparkling water and a lemon or something. But I don't even feel the need to replace the alcohol with
Yeah.
something different anymore much.
Hmm.
If I go out to dinner, I'll order a nice mocktail or something, but
Hmm.
um, like I said, I didn't think I would be able to get here to this point where you just don't think about it that much.
Yeah.
And your life just is now different and alcohol free. And for me, that's just hugely better. My sleep is totally predictable now.
Nice.
Um, you know, Way fewer headaches. And so it's just been amazing, and I couldn't have done it without the support of your program.
Oh,
Yeah.
well. I love that. So, just thinking about like this year, this past year, and knowing what you know now, right? Like knowing that it like it doesn't occupy your brain, like it's not hard not to drink,
Yes.
right? Like you know that now because that's your experience. That's like your actual lived experience is that it just doesn't occupy your thoughts and it's not a big issue to overcome every single day, right?
That's the best part,
Yeah. Yeah.
that your brain is freed up from that constant push pull.
Yes.
Yeah,
But when you're going through the process of learning how to figure out your relationship with alcohol, you don't know that yet, even though people like me tell you that, right?
right,
So,
right.
what would you, if you could somehow see into the future and like be able to have a message for that person that is going through it and figuring out, what would you have liked to hear or know about what you know now?
Just that, again, it's a journey. You're making progress. You're
Mhm.
doing great just by giving this issue in your life attention and,
Mhm.
being intentional about it. Um, don't give up. You can get to that place. We all can get to that place where alcohol is not taking up so much of our brain power.
Mm.
Um, and you will get to that place where it's just natural to have an alcohol-free life if that's what you want.
Mhm.
Um, if your intention is to have moderation, and really that be your lifestyle, that's great too. And you can also get to that place.
Mhm.
But I think it's so important that we don't beat ourselves up when
Mhm.
we slip back, or I don't think there's any failure. There's just learning opportunities. And uh, as you said, the most important thing is not to give up because your relationship with alcohol can be what you want it to be, and it can be completely different. Um, you can get there. If
I
I
love it.
if I can do it, anybody can, and I've heard other clients of yours say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very hard to imagine that when
Mhm.
you're kind of struggling with your relationship. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was very hard to imagine, 2.5 years ago that I could get to this place.
Yeah. But I think so. What I'm hearing from you is first, like being nice to yourself through that process is key. I just did
Yes.
a podcast this week on how kindness and loving support of yourself or with whoever you are that you've asked for help with this issue is the most important thing because we know that being hard on ourselves doesn't work, right? So no
Yeah.
matter how long it takes, right? We don't want to be
Yeah,
hard on ourselves because that just closes us and shuts us down. Loving kindness is what keeps us open and in the game, right? It's just like you're doing great.
absolutely.
That exactly what you said. You're doing great. You're making progress. Keep going. You can get there. And then the second part of what I'm hearing you say is that believing that you can get there and holding on to that belief. And if you can't believe it yourself for your own situation, grab onto your story, my story, all the other people
Yes,
that you can hear, read all the books. Like really live in the possibility that that can happen for you too. And
yes,
stay with your
absolutely.
stories.
Create that vision of what you want your life to look like and you want your relationship to be with alcohol and keep that as your North Star.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that. Is
yeah.
there anything that you wish you would have done earlier or sooner or differently in your journey now that you're this far out?
I mean, I absolutely wish that I would have learned these tools and this different way of life much earlier in life.
Mhm.
I'm getting toward my late 50s, and it's hard not to have some regret
Mhm.
about the years that you maybe just weren't as present for your family or, you know, those I saw something, somebody wrote a book about all the Sundays that they kind of missed out on because they were hungover or,
Mhm.
that type of thing. But I definitely try not to go there. But yeah, I would say don't put off this work. And as you said, it's sort of like radical self-love is really, really important. And celebrate any wins that you have in
Mhm.
ways that, support yourself, help you feel good. Celebrate those successes that you have.
Yes. So good. What has surprised you the most about living alcohol free? Like, was there anything unexpected that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was possible, or I didn't know I could experience this thing?
Well, I was thinking about this last night, and my life has completely transformed since I started this work and quit drinking completely.
Hmm.
I left that very stressful career that I had
Hmm.
had for a new opportunity. That was a huge leap of faith.
Hmm.
Um, and 2025 was one of the hardest years of my life, probably besides the year that I went through with the breast cancer
Hmm.
journey. My husband lost his federal job last year, and the job that I left for, left a stable but stressful career for. Also, my position was eliminated. So lots of huge challenges, not to mention just the state of our country
Hmm.
over the past year. And so I think about how proud I am that I didn't use alcohol to numb all those feelings and emotions through those really hard challenges, that I can do hard things and get
Hmm.
through things um, without having something that, that numbs that pain.
Yeah.
So that's been amazing. And I've become a professional coach and spent
Good.
last year coaching other people in my profession. And part of the inspiration for becoming a coach was working with you,
Mm. I love
and seeing that the impact that you can have on other people's lives, helping them through these types of issues.
Yeah. So you did that though while you were working at that full-time stressful job
I
and
did.
during the first year that you did alcohol free.
Yes, I was still there. And in
Like
fact,
a bad Megan.
yeah, that last year of my job was the probably the most stressful year out of the 12 and a half years I was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do hard things.
Man,
You
isn't that
can, you
crazy? Like
can.
giving up alcohol, deciding to make that your goal of the year, like working that very stressful job and being open to other possibilities, right? Like kind of like open the door for your mind to be like, I could do something different, right?
Yeah,
You did so much work with your relationship with alcohol leading up to that year to help you have that opening, right?
yeah,
And then deciding to get your coach certification during that
yeah,
year, like
yeah.
it's just
I
amazing.
know.
It's so big.
Yeah,
And then deciding to leave the job to go into the industry that you actually want to be doing, which was coaching, right? And
exactly.
risk. And then it not really working out the way you thought it would. And having um the resilience, right? Your
Yes,
resiliency to handle everything that last year threw at you.
yes,
Huge, right? Do you feel
yes.
like that has expanded since you've done this work?
Absolutely expanded um, a thousandfold. Yeah. And now I'm sitting in a place where I have more new opportunities than I kind of know what to do with, and I'm so excited to design this next chapter of my life in a way that really fulfills my purpose
Hmm.
and creates meaning and helps other people. So yeah, I couldn't be more grateful for what working with you has brought to my life.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you brought it though. Like you had the desire and you dedicated yourself to doing the work and working through all the difficult emotions and unwiring patterns and all of that. So,
Yeah, and it's an incredible feeling to be on the other side of this and look back and celebrate this journey. So yeah, just for all your listeners, keep going. Don't
yeah,
quit. Yeah.
yes. What kind of tips do you have? Like if there was three things that helped you, like I know that first year you had to work through stuff still, like you had urges and you had social engagements and you had travel and you had all that stress, right?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
still had to work through that. And so
Yes.
how did you do that without getting overwhelmed with that big goal that you had of being alcohol free for a year? Because a lot of people, like, they're scared to claim that they want to be alcohol free because it feels way too big. They don't know how
Yeah.
they're going to navigate all the things without alcohol, right? So,
Yeah.
what are three things do you think that would help them stay close to get through those things?
Yeah. Well, for me, and this may not be the right thing for everybody, but I told people what I was doing. I
Yep.
told my family, I told people at work, and it was incredible how much support I had. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you do still have to work through those times where you tell somebody, when you're out to dinner or whatever it is that you're not drinking and you get questioned about it, right? You still have, I mean, I have one neighbor that every time I see him, he asks me if I want a drink. And I'm like, dude, I've been alcohol free for 2 years. Why do you keep asking me this question?
Yeah.
But it's okay. You get better at how you want to respond and what you want to share with people. Um, Also, I think, celebrating those chunks of time, if you can do the whole month of January, okay, you just did that. You can do another month.
Mm.
Um, and just be curious about it. Um, I think is the third thing. Just always have a curious mind, and you talk about that. Just you know, explore what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what triggers you, and really just keep working on those things. And I think also just taking out I don't know, the feeling that it's either all or nothing kind of I think that all or nothing thinking can really derail us.
Mm-hmm. I
So
love
again, celebrate the wins. Know that if you slip up or if don't completely follow your plan that you want to be following, it's okay. You get to start over the next day.
that. I love that. I love that you said number one was telling people what your goal is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that for me, when I did this work, and I'm sure you've heard this story, is like as soon as I did it, which was 8 years ago, January 2018. It's crazy. Wait, was that 9 years ago? I don't I can't do the math anymore, but it was 2018 in January when I'm like, I'm not drinking. I'm taking a break from drinking. And I broadcast that widely. That's when I started my podcast before I was even a coach. And I like talked about it all the time. I told everybody about it. And I really do think that energy, I didn't really understand how all this worked at the time. So I was still so new and like fresh about it. But my putting my goals out there, my desires, into the universe
Yeah.
to me receive what I wanted. Right. So,
Yes.
like, the more people you tell your intentions and your goals, and you're not worried about what they're going to think or if you're going to mess up, that's not what the point is. It's the point is like, I'm supporting myself by making this real and sharing that with people. And it is really powerful. So, thank you for saying that.
It is. And the most common response I got in the early part of that was, oh gosh, that's great. I should really do that too.
Yeah.
I should really cut back too, or I should really do a dry
Yeah.
month. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. It's so good. And people want to help you, you know,
yeah,
and of course, there's always going to be the one offs. And that's always
yes,
going to exist in our lives. The one-offs of those people that say the stupid thing in the moment,
yeah, yeah,
right? Like, we can't get rid of those people, but most of the time it's met with positive responses. Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. What do
Yeah.
you think helped you the most in the moment you wanted a drink and you had chosen not to drink?
Just circling back to my strong intention and the why behind that.
Mm-hmm.
The why that I want to feel the best I can feel to live life fully alive every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful to be here after a life-threatening illness. Um, and I want to make the most of the time I have on this incredible, beautiful earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so being really clear about your why and always keeping that in the forefront of your mind.
I love that. It's so
Yeah,
important, right? Because that why is not really what your brain is thinking in the moment that it wants a drink, right?
not at all.
So you have to be able to pull out something that's going to remind you of why you're doing this in the first place.
Yeah, so get really clear on that. Write it down, keep
Yeah.
it, on your desk, on your bathroom mirror,
Mhm.
and just revisit it often.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
do you use to cope these days? Like, how do you work through the stress and all the difficulty that you experienced last year?
Oh, that's a good question. I think going outside, doing
Mm,
something active,
mm,
moving my body. Yoga is a really important practice for me and
mm.
connects that mind, body, spirit.
Yep.
So I try to do, even if it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes,
Mhm,
every day, a little bit of yoga,
mhm,
journaling, getting
mhm,
all that shit out and getting all those thoughts out on paper
mhm,
really helps as well. And just kind of going back to the tools of that you teach of, you know, naming and processing those emotions and then letting that emotional wave pass
mhm.
and moving on, you know.
It's so
Yeah.
good. I love that you said get outside first.
Yeah.
Living
Yeah.
in Alaska, I can imagine that that's very hard at times, but doing it anyway, right? Just that, even just a little bit of fresh air can really change our perspective.
Yes,
Yeah.
completely.
Are you still ice
Nature.
skating?
Yeah, the weather conditions this year, I didn't get to do a lot of ice skating. But yesterday was a big day. I had a couple of job interviews. It was a very stressful.
Hmm.
And I kind of flopped down on the couch after that and sat there for a little bit. And I'm like, I'm gonna go out and go cross country ski around
What?
my little lake. And it was kind of getting towards sunset. The light was incredible. The mountains are, beautiful white with snow and pink from the sunset. And
My God.
it was the best salve I could have,
Wow.
chosen. It was just perfect. So
So others are
nature.
that is amazing. So, like, that's the difference, right? That's how you coped. And
Yeah.
you tracked through this work and those years being alcohol free, like, I'm tracking towards things that make me feel good, right? And you
Yeah.
knew that laying on the couch for the rest of the evening probably wasn't going to make you feel good after that big, intense, stressful day of all those interviews. And you needed to
Yeah.
move through that and get outside and connect with nature and, like, immerse yourself in that. It's so good. It's like, that's the difference. That's the alive part, right? Like, instead of
Yes.
numbing a stressful day and just
Yeah.
sitting in a house somewhere, right? You got outside, engaged with your body, got to enjoy some beautiful nature, and worked through that, and you got to experience so much more by that.
Exactly. Yeah. I took pictures and I just thought, this is just amazing. I'm so fortunate to be able to see this beauty
Yeah,
right outside my front door. And yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to be doing.
so good, Megan.
Yeah.
Amazing. What else? Is there anything else you feel like you need to add to your story here, or what you want people to know? A lot of people are doing dry January right now, so we're like legit halfway through the month. It's January 15th when we're recording this.
Yeah.
Like some people could be wavering, or maybe they've made a mistake already. Like, what do you want to tell them?
Just keep exploring and keep being curious about this. I think our society is finally moving in a bit of a direction of less alcohol and the
Hmm.
understanding that, as good as it makes us feel in the moment, it is a poison.
Hmm.
And it's not ultimately good for us. And even, there's been a lot of studies that have come out in the last couple of years about even, all the marketing we've had around wine being good for us isn't
Hmm.
isn't really true.
Yeah.
Um, so I think society is going in this direction, and that's going to make it a lot easier, and yeah, I think the other thing is the investment in working with you or another coach that can help you work through this is the best money you will ever spend. And for me, it was a lot at some points, and I was questioning making this big investment, but I have saved so much money buying alcohol the last 2 years, and but not just that. It's really about the huge transformation that has happened in my life, and for the health benefits, for not spending all that money on alcohol. I
Hmm.
mean, it's such a good investment.
I love that you shared that. I actually went and got coaching yesterday, and I was really stuck in this loop, and I have been for years. And I thought my shit was true. Like I thought, but when you're so in it, right? Even me as an
Yeah.
experienced coach, and I do this work every day, I'm like, okay, obviously I'm not doing like whatever I'm doing right now is not working. Like I had that thought. I'm like, I need help. And
Yeah.
thankfully, I'm smart enough that I recognize that, right? But I could have gotten help 5 years ago on this specific issue. And I go in, and he comes at it from all these different angles, and he was so good and so patient and so loving and so sweet. And I'm like, wait a second. You're telling me that my beliefs are creating my results? And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like I just want to mirror what you just said about that. Like I paid high dollar for that session, and I will continue to go back, and it's worth
Yeah.
it because my whole mind just got blown, and what I think is possible in my life is now like I have a whole different opening and a shift and
Yeah.
and different beliefs. And when you have different beliefs about what you're capable of or whatever situation you're in, your life changes.
Yeah, yeah. I always tell people everyone can use a coach. And as a coach, I have coaches I work with
Yep.
because we can't see our own blind spots.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So get all
I,
the support you need, and you will not be sorry to make the investment in yourself.
yeah. So
Yeah.
good. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about your transformation? Obviously, you're feeling better. Your life has transformed into your new work opportunities. You have better coping mechanisms for stressful days. What about your
Yeah.
relationships or anything like that?
All of this, it doesn't mean those hard things aren't there.
Mm,
They're always going to be there. And so, but when you know and understand that you can cope without alcohol, it's so freeing.
hmm.
It's just a sense of freedom and empowerment
Hmm.
that just keeps me going, and that's why I really don't think about alcohol much anymore. But when I do, I don't want to lose that freedom and that empowerment.
Yeah.
Um, and I think what I loved about you, Angela, was just how supportive you are and not non-judgmental you are, but also you will call us on our shit. And we all need that. I mean, really, I think we get up in our heads about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and our society, especially as women, there's so many expectations to be, the perfect wife, the perfect mother,
Mm-hmm.
and the perfect daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and all of these things, and just have the career and be successful in so many realms of our life. And it's just so much pressure. So it's natural that many of us turn to alcohol as a coping mechanism. So just know that you're not alone. There's so many people struggling with this. And that's, another thing I learned joining your programs and learning from other people's stories. And so just embrace that support, be active in the community. There's so many amazing people. There's people that I stay in touch with still
Yeah, I
today.
heard you got together with Julie in
I
Southern
got
California.
together with Julie when I was in Palm Springs. It was amazing. So just, yeah, just go all in. Go all in.
Love it. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank
Well, I
you.
can't wait to hear about these outcomes of all these amazing opportunities that you have. So please keep in touch. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Angela.
Oh my gosh, that was so good, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, Megan, for coming on to the podcast and answering my questions and sharing your story with us. I'm sure you helped so many people believe in themselves and understand what is possible when you dedicate some time, energy, and resources to figuring out what is best with your drinking. And if you want to be like Megan and do a deeper dive and hire me as your private coach, I am super excited to be sharing that I'm opening up 3 spots to work with me one on one. That also includes a retreat at the Magic House in Lisbon, Portugal. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for you to look at some more information around that. And if you can't get that link, just email me and let me know that you're interested in the private coaching plus Portugal experience, and I will send you the details. And I'm guessing those are going to go pretty fast, and we are going to be starting that private coaching in February. So don't miss out. There's only 3 spots. Okay, friends. Loving you all. We'll talk to you all next week. Bye.